Disparities exist in the representation of women and equity-deserving groups in leadership positions across Canada. Here's a stark fact. Among the top 100 earners in 2021, there were more men named Mark than there were women. Even in organizations with high proportions of women in the workforce, like financial services companies, women are overrepresented at the lower level and underrepresented at the top. While inequality persists at all levels, the gap is usually the greatest at the top. When we look at boards and senior leadership positions, we see that women, racialized people, Indigenous peoples, people with disabilities, and 2S LGBTQ+ communities are underrepresented. This is especially true in the corporate sector. Barriers to the full and equal participation of women and equity-deserving groups in leadership roles may be linked to various barriers. These can include bias and stereotypes around what makes a good leader, a lack of awareness and understanding of disparities, exclusionary recruitment and promotion processes, and inadequate access to mentorship and professional development, among others. Diversity in leadership not only signals who belongs, it's also linked to better organizational performance. Studies show that diverse organizations outperform those that are less diverse, and can reduce absenteeism by nearly 1 day a year per employee, and improve decision-making by applying a variety of perspectives. Diversity also increases innovation, creativity, and problem-solving. We know investors and consumers' expectations are changing, and they increasingly are looking for action rather than good intentions. In a study of over 12,000 enterprises, 59.1% found that inclusive business practices increased creativity and innovation, and 57.8% found it enhanced organizational reputation. Persistent disparities in representation at the leadership level and a growing recognition that change is needed are where voluntary codes like the 50-30 Challenge come into play. The 50-30 Challenge is an initiative by the Government of Canada, Canadian businesses, and organizations supporting equity-deserving groups. It encourages organizations to commit to gender parity, that's the 50%, and increased diversity, that's the 30%. Diversity in this context includes Indigenous peoples, racialized peoples, people with disabilities, as well as 2S LGBTQ+ communities. The challenge offers support to organizations that want to take part by providing toolkits, training resources, and more. The 50-30 Challenge supports Canadian organizations of all sizes, sectors, and types that want to improve representation in leadership roles and on boards. It can be applied to large corporations, small and medium-sized enterprises, nonprofits, post-secondary institutions, and hospitals, along with agencies, boards, and commissions. Organizations can sign on at different stages in their EDI journey, including organizations working toward the challenge, meaning that they haven't met the challenge's gender parity and diversity goals yet, or organizations that have met the challenge requirements. No matter the size, sector, or region, all organizations should commit to target setting, self-identification, and tracking. That said, the challenge is completely voluntary, and organizations are encouraged to report on their efforts toward hitting gender and diversity goals through their existing mechanisms. Recognizing that organizations seeking change need help with strategies, tools, and resources, the challenge through ecosystem partners, Colleges and Institutes Canada, eGale Canada, Global Compact Network Canada, Ted Rogers School of Management's Diversity Institute, and Women's Economic Council is providing a range of resources to challenge participants. These resources include the What Works Toolkit, developed by KPMG Canada, which provides resources such as the Guide to Sustaining Organizational Change and the Board and Leader Guidebook. We know that to enhance equity, diversity, and inclusion within an organization, these principles must be meaningfully embedded in processes and throughout the value chain, including procurement, product and service design, and sales, marketing, and support. That's why the challenge provides practical examples from Canadian organizations to support developing and implementing an inclusive strategy. The Diversity Institute has worked with hundreds of organizations in developing their strategies using the Diversity Assessment Tool, now available online, where you can learn how to strategically embed EDI as part of your business strategy and receive curated best practices. Select from a range of online training programs. Try out the Micropedia of Microaggressions and share it at themicropedia.org. Access more than 700 examples of curated best practices on everything from a board skills matrix to EDI policies, inclusive job descriptions, guidelines for target setting, support for a diversity procurement strategy, inclusive design, and ways to build relationships with equity-deserving groups. Check out the links in the description to gain access. Ready to take the 50/30 challenge? Find out more at 5030tools.ca and sign up today.